Good evening. Diversions, delays and driven to distraction. That's what could be facing drivers over the next 16 months as repairs to the Oldbury Viaduct on the M5 get underway. The vital junction which links the M5 with the M6 has had the number of lanes reduced. Drivers are being encouraged to use the M42 as an alternative, with restrictions at junction 4A for those heading north on the M5. Highways England says it's one of the biggest concrete engineering projects in the country and the repairs are essential. Our transport correspondent Peter Plisner is at the control centre near the M5 tonight. Peter, this is a massive project, but it's having a huge knock-on and the impact is massive,
yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, Mary, there's already been long tailbacks on this during the school holidays. Tonight, though, if you look at the Oldbury Viaduct there on that screen, it is flowing fairly freely. In addition to the diversions, Highways England are advising drivers to use alternative modes of transport. But I found out today, many prefer to get in their cars and head for the congestion. Bumper to bumper this morning, heading towards the roadworks. This was the M5 northbound, 3 miles away from Oldbury. And this was the M6 southbound, 5 miles away from where the M5 begins. And this is where the roadworks start, with a major contraflow at either end of the Oldbury Viaduct. Up until yesterday, this was the southbound carriageway of the busy M5. As you can see, traffic has now been moved across to the northbound carriageway. It'll be like that for the next 7 months, while this carriageway, all the tarmac needs removing and paying particular attention to the joints between the bridges. They are corroded and need repairing. It's already been billed as the UK's biggest ever concrete repair project. Contractors will remove more than 30,000 tonnes of tarmac and then carry out waterproofing repairs. Highways England maintains that it needs doing and says drivers will have to get used to roadworks.
This is the largest improvement programme of work on the network for a generation, and effectively this will be the new norm. People will continue to see roadworks in the region. Around
2/3 of the work is happening underneath the M5. Here there's scaffolding along the entire length of the viaduct. Contractors admit that they've yet to discover exactly how bad things are.
It's a little bit like taking a wallpaper off. Until you take it off, you can't quite see the state of the plaster underneath. So while we've got good evidence and we know what we're looking for and where to look, we can't get the detail of that until we've done the full scope of the testing.
Highways England wants drivers to avoid the M5 at Oldbury and have advised those heading south on the M6 to take the A50 and M1 or pay to use the M6 toll. Traffic heading from London to the northwest is being told to use the M1 or the toll road, while drivers heading north on the M5 are being directed all the way round the M42 and then back onto the M6. Here in North Worcestershire, the M5 is reduced to just one lane, and that's already meant complaints from drivers and the local council. What's your message to Highways England?
Well, will they please talk to us, will they listen to us, and will they act to avoid this unnecessary constriction?
But Highways England maintains it has to be done.
The reason those measures have been put in place so far away from the work is that is the last opportunity to make a decision to take the diversion of the M42 and the M6.
The contraflows should be lifted by the autumn of next year, but further work means the whole project will carry on until April 2019.
Well, commuters on the M5 are now facing their third set of major roadworks in 6 years. Drivers travelling between junction 6 and 3 have had to contend with roadworks, speed restrictions and regular queues as a concrete central reservation barrier was installed. It was followed by the creation of a so-called smart motorway and now the Oldbury Viaduct Road. Well, not surprisingly, many drivers are a bit fed up with it all. Ben Sidwell spent the morning travelling with a commuter up the M5.
Bye.
Like many people who live close to Worcester, Andrew Clark's job requires him to often travel on the M5.
Northbound the M5 will hit congestion at junction 3.
Andrew works for a medical services company. Today he's heading to Sandwell General Hospital from his home in Tiverton. It's a journey that usually takes around half an hour.
It's going to take me an absolute age to get there and probably miss my window of opportunity to get the job done that I'm going to do.
Joining the M5 at Droitwich, traffic's running freely, but things quickly change as Andrew gets closer to the M42, where the M5 has been reduced to one lane.
Very frustrating. When we get further down, you see it goes down to one lane, but there's no roadworks there, there's no work going on. You just ask yourself, why have they done it? So we're just over 11 miles from our destination, and I expect it'll take quite a while now to get there.
Further north near junction 3 at Hales Owen, and traffic's even worse.
I really wouldn't want to try and join the rest of the traffic travelling through the centre of Birmingham to get to Sandwell. It'll be chaos, especially come September when all the traffic's trying to make a detour and avoid the congestion on the motorway.
Both ways on the M5 now 30 miles an hour, so that's causing delays northbound back from Frankly services.
Yet more delays as Andrew approaches the actual roadworks around Albury at junction 2.
If you open it back up and make people make their own decision, I think is a good idea. If people want to come this way or have to come this way, that's what they'll do. But it should be up to them what to do, not be forced to go the long way round or an expensive way round.
More than an hour after he set off, Andrew finally arrives.
Normally, even with rush hour, it'd take me about 30 minutes to get here, and it's taken twice that and a bit longer. I'm dreading coming September. I think it'll be even longer than that, an hour and a half at least, I should think.
And those are delays that Andrew and others are likely to face for the next 16 months. Ben Sidwell, BBC Midlands Today.
Well, let's go back to Peter at the control centre now. Peter, you could sense the frustration amongst Andrew there and probably many other commuters as well. And some of these suggested diversion routes, well, they could add 40 miles to journeys.
Yeah, they are quite long, Mary. To talk a bit more about the diversions, I'm joined by Frank Bird. Frank, first tell me, what evidence is there that drivers will use these diversions?
Yeah, actually, we're really pleased with the driver's response this morning. We've noticed that an awful lot of extra traffic is moving on the M42. We've opened the hard shoulder all day today, so traffic has been moving around the M42 to avoid the M5.
But can the network cope? And bearing in mind this is school holidays, when September comes and the schools are back, it's going to be even more traffic, isn't it?
Yeah, we think that it would probably take a few days for that to settle down as well. What we would say to people is now's the time to start, plan, prepare. You've still got another 6 weeks or so, but think about, is your journey necessary? And if it is necessary, could you possibly do it in a different way or a different time of day?
What about the M6 toll? It's not featured in much of the literature. Obviously, you have to pay to use it. So what's the policy on advising people to use the M6 toll, which is a quick route?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the M6 toll is a private road, but if people choose to use that, then by all means, it would probably save them a little bit of time.
Frank, many thanks. Well, as you can see, the Albury Viaduct is running fairly freely tonight, but it was at a standstill this morning. Apparently someone ran out of petrol right in the middle of the roadworks.
That's the last thing you need. Peter Blisner, thanks very much. The day's other news now, and a man's appeared in court accused of raping a 14-year-old girl who's believed to have been attacked by two different offenders on the same night. The teenager was allegedly raped